right now, and we're going to go live in 3, 2, and 1. Hi everyone,
hello everybody,
welcome
we're live and it's me. I'm on
it's
the
only
shots.
you. Are you the only one on there? Hey, let's
I'm the
switch
only
you.
one there. Yes, that's right.
There we go.
I'm still the only one.
This is live TV, and you're still the only one. Why are you the only one? What's going on here?
That's right. It's
there
because
we go.
yeah, there we are. That's better.
There we are. Okay, live TV. So let's try that again. We're already live, so we're recording. So let's just continue. So
That's
here
right.
is our intro. That was a good show, Jeff. What do you think?
That's right. We finished already, have we?
That was good. That was good. Well, thanks, folks. We'll see you next week on. Gosh.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, this is what we're running the show with. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, so there we go. Let's look. There we go.
That's not even in the top right.
Yep. Yeah, there we go again.
There
We've
we
just
go.
done 3 shows now.
Yeah, that's really weird. Maybe
As soon
we'll
as you
start
pick
this.
the controller up, it does that.
No, we're not even on that. It's I know why. It's because the other shot wasn't in place. So I'm gonna see now. We can bring you to your shot. Now
There
here's
it is.
our shot. So
Okay.
here we go, folks. This is live broadcasting. Things sometimes go wrong, and they go wrong when you least expect it. But here is the controller we're using. It's the Orbit.
That's
And
good.
the Orbit is a really nice controller. Every so often things kind of get a little confused, but that's just the controller. It's a USB that's wireless. Even though I'm wired, that's only for the power. It has to go through a wireless dongle, and then it controls it. But for the most part, it works, and we are working right now. So, Jeff, how have you been? We haven't had a show in, this is going to be 3 weeks.
No, that's right. As I said, with work and different things coming and going, we haven't had one for 3 weeks. But I must say, I thought with not having a show, I'd have tons and tons and tons of things to speak about. But I think lately I've been trying to not look at a lot of content because I want to start seeing things as a bit new. But I've been looking at so much content over the last few years that. That's all you end up doing most of the time is looking at new content and not actually doing something.
And you need a break every so often because
That's
after a
right.
while you don't know what to buy, what to get, and if you follow what everybody says, you'll never buy anything correctly.
No, because no matter what you're looking for, there's always pros and cons, and they always seem to even out. Half will say it's good. Half will say it's bad. Now, what's that you've got there? The GH5?
No, this is actually the. I really like this. This is the M5, the Canon M5.
The M5. Oh, yes, that's right. That
I
looks
truly enjoy this camera. It's a nice camera. It really shoots well, and with the right lens, and I have to stress that, with the right lens, it can shoot video very well. This is the Canon 35mm f2. It's a U lens, a USM lens, so it's the ultrasonic motor. It's really nice on this. Shoots video beautifully on this camera. I was shooting for a while the last week with the 50mm f1.4. It no shoot that well, lots of blurriness, and I was going, why am I blurry? I'm on the right. No, it just wasn't keeping up with the camera. It's an older lens, I guess, and it just wasn't doing it. So. This one, the 35mm, seems to work very nicely with this particular camera. I'm going to do some more research about what other lenses work with this. And this is working with the adapter. You can probably see it here. There's an extra piece right here. That is the Canon adapter mount for the M series. So it's got an M series on the camera side, and then you have your EF lens here, or EFS. It works on Sigma lenses. It works on Tamron lenses. And it works on Canon, though on Canon that I do get some occasional slowness on some of the lenses. But this one, the 35, is a good video camera lens. It's not a zoom, it's a prime, but it looks nice. I was filming last night with it and went, how come this looks so good and everything? And the 50mm doesn't. It's probably the focus engine on the 50mm is slow. But I have seen the 50mm STM, the cheaper one. It's only like a $200 lens.
Oh, okay.
That actually looks nice. So it depends. Maybe the step motor works better on this camera than the ultrasonics, but this is an ultrasonic. So I don't know. But this is a great camera, and the more I play with it, the more I actually like it. Do I like it as much as my Panasonics? Yes and no. I like it for what it is. It's got great Canon color. It's a beautiful, it's small. I wish it had a battery grip. That would be nicer because I have big hands. But I like the Panasonic ergonomics a whole lot better. They're just great. These are also, I'd say Canon is probably second best at ergonomics. They're just easy. Everything flows on Canon. I hate this. Now, you've seen this before. It's the dumbest thing Canon could have ever done.
The flip out.
The flip down.
Yeah, flip down instead of flip out.
Yeah, that's so stupid. It's so useless because more often than not, if you're going to be filming like that, it's really hard to hold it out in front of you when it's flipped down. And you tend to look down at it, which where the other one you look more naturally at it when it's up. So they did that because they put the hot shoe in here. If they had just done,
okay.
But I don't know, bad design, make the hinge come out more. That would have made more sense. But it's or why don't you just flip it like everything else, so it comes out like a regular, like the GH4, the 5, and most cameras. No, they make it difficult. But I do love this camera. It's a fun little camera. I'm taking this to Idaho when we go visit our grandsons next in about 2 weeks. I was going to take the Panasonic. I said, you know what? I'm going to take the Canon just because I feel like it. And I want to
just because you can.
Because I can. I want to take it just to get some real world practice with it rather than just in the office and little things. I want to shoot some other stuff and see how it comes out. If it fails miserably, that's the last time I'll take it on the road with me.
Well, I was listening to, having just said, trying to get away from everything. I was still listening to Hugh Brownstone, and one of the videos he did this week was about the GH5, and he's saying a lot of the time, like he says, I always say it's not about the gear. But he said, but maybe it is, because he said he's fallen in love with the GH5, and he thinks it's going to be, to name it his camera of the year.
Interesting.
He said, because it does so many of the good things. He said, but don't get fooled. There's still negative things about it. He said, but hey, that's just normal things. There's got to be, it can't be totally perfect, but from the outset, it does pretty much most everything you want. One of the big things he didn't like with it was something that you like the battery grip. He said battery grip's great, but if you want to put it on tripods and that, the where you put it on the tripod, it's out of sync with everything else.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. That's not a big deal.
But if that's what he said, it doesn't. But as I said, there's a lot of little things. He said, but that doesn't matter. And he said, like the focusing. So, but if you're on, but if you're into the things that you are into, that doesn't matter. You're usually a bit more tentative to the focusing yourself. You don't just trust the camera. But that's the thing is, like most of them, like you were just saying with that Canon. A particular spec sound lens might not work as well.
Right.
But it all depends. With the Metabones, you don't know until you try these things.
And this isn't a Metabones. This is the Canon. No, it's only like now it went up in price. It's about $200 adapter. And it does a really, really nice job. For pictures, it works on everything. But for video, it's a little fussier because for example, the smooth servo focus, which is what you would do with video, it's slower on some lenses. The lenses can't keep up. Whereas some of them do, like the 35 millimeter USM is great. The 50, not so great. So, and yet other people say the STM lenses work really well. Technically, the STM, the step motor lens should be not as good as the USM, but maybe it's the way the camera was engineered. It works better with this particular camera. So I may get, before we travel, I may get another lens or two that are STM, and they're not expensive, like $200 to $400, and see what that does. There aren't a lot of lenses in the M mount for the mirrorless mount that look good. They look pretty crummy, actually. They're cheap, but you get what you pay for. And the kit lens that came with it is pretty much garbage. It takes video okay, but it's blurry. It's just sort of a blurry lens, and it doesn't have a lot of detail, but it's cheap. And it also, like, this starts at 3.8 to, 6.5. It's not a very fast lens, meaning it lets a little bit of light in, but it's not very clean. So I don't get Canon.
But you're saying with that flip out viewfinder, there was somebody else online. I think it was who was it? Dan Watson, I think it was, was saying, you know, a couple of things that others could do to make people switch. And he was talking about Sony, and he said one of the big things that Sony could do to make more people switch to them, if you wanted to, is do a flip out viewfinder like the GH5.
Yeah, they barely have touch screens on the Sonys.
Yeah, and he said just that one thing would probably convert a lot of people over to it, because Sony do have a big following, but like you know yourself, it's just these little things like the overheating of one, but it's that screen. If you had that flip out like on the Panasonic, you just get so many more people doing. Because let's face it, the big thing with video and that these days, people are doing it by themselves. And even if it's a still shot, you've got remote apps, but you want to see what you're doing on the flip out. So you need to see that. And
you know, on the remote apps, and on the remote apps, I think the M5 was one of them. You can take pictures, but you can't shoot video with it.
Oh, that's strange, isn't it?
So now, if you're trying to use it as a blogging camera and you can't turn on the video, kind of kills the whole idea.
Yeah, and that's the one thing with like Panasonic. Their app is, everybody seems to say that's one of the better ones.
It is. It really is.
Remotely operating. Whereas if the others did just those few little things, because people who like Sony, it's like people who like Apple. People who like Sony are going to go for Sony no matter what. So the people, if they put these extra features, those people who are on the verge would flip over, because I know I like Sony, but it's a few things I don't like about them. But if they did a few different things, I might be tempted to get one of the A7 Mark IIs or
you know, I don't want to get
it.
You know why I don't want a Sony? This is, and by the way, don't send us hate mail, because we don't read it anyway. But if you did, we don't care. You know, I mean, honestly, we don't. What I don't like about Sony is anything that they have right now could be thrown away tomorrow. They have gotten rid of all the lines. They had the NEX line that was really nice. They were small cameras, and they just totally got rid of it. They killed it, and that was only like 3 years old. They killed it, and then they came out with the A7S and A7R, and people are going, well, what happened? So the other stuff's no longer valid. They got rid of the A99. Now it's back. And you just go, well, what if they get rid of it again? There aren't a lot of lenses for it. And then you've got the new, A9? How long is that going to last? No one knows. So I don't trust them in being stable. Now, at least with Canon, I know whatever I get today is at least 4 to 5 years old. So it's got a lot of time forward into the future to be useful.
Well, I mean, my Canon 60D, well, that's still probably nearly 7 years old now. But I know. It's still out there. People are still buying them from their second hand, but but the technology is still there. They've still got the same sort of one upgraded. They haven't sort of dumped the thing. They've just refined it, because really what's it up to now? The 80D. 80D, but it's pretty much the same sort of camera, but just upgraded with different features.
Right. Well, they've had the chips are different. The dual focus is different. They have more memory now, stuff like that. But because I forgot what the 60D was. It was 16 megapixel. It wasn't 20 megapixel, I don't think.
No, it was 18.
18,
60,
okay.
18.
And then they went to the 24 megapixel sensor, and it hasn't changed much.
But the thing that gets me with all of these camera brands is that the smart people out there, they're all very smart people, like Canon do excellent thing in that focusing. But why can't the people at Panasonic do the same thing? Because, I mean, surely it's not that patent they'd be able to figure out that same sort instead of the contrast-based focusing.
They all can.
It's fine for me, but the Canon one seems to be the best, it seems, for auto-focusing. But you would think, well, they've got the research. Why don't they put the best into the things that they get, and then they'll get more people? I sometimes don't understand it. What's that you've got there?
This is a new Lenovo I got.
Oh, okay. It just looks like an Apple, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. It's got the little chiclet keyboard. It's got 2 USB 3s, one USB 3.1 C, which gives you Thunderbolt. It also has a Thunderbolt connector. It's a nice laptop, but it's got a beautiful screen. We're using this as our mini. Like if I'm in a hotel or something, I could literally do a show with this.
Yeah, I have one similar one to that, for my work machine.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic, and they're so light.
They're very light. This is
So light and
this is
powerful.
4.4 pounds, and it's pretty high end.
And that looks like a 17-inch screen, is it?
It's actually 15.6.
But I'm just so impressed with the Lenovo's, because from
4K.
my work machine, we went from Dell's
Yes.
to those. But and the Dell I thought was good at the time. It was a nice small one.
Yeah.
But this Lenovo's twice as powerful and half the weight.
Yeah, I know.
And
It's
just-
pretty good. And it's got this is, by the way, 4K.
Oh,
Which I had to go
anything
down.
else?
I put it down to, I think, 1080 because I couldn't read. The 4K was so small.
The only thing I find the problem with the Lenovo, I have to keep double checking my case because I keep lifting. I think it's not in the bag.
Oh,
Yep. Because it's so light. But it's
now this is cool.
yes.
This is an Anker, the German brand, Anker. This is the 3.1 connector, 3.1 USB 3.1C.
Yes.
This is an adapter. Well, it's an expander. So you put this into your 3.1C USB, and you get two USB 3 ports.
Yeah.
You get RJ45. You get an SDXC card reader and an HDMI out. All
That's
in
good,
one.
isn't it?
All in one. And it's beautifully built. Really nicely machined. Nice aluminum. All this is $79, but it gives you two USBs, the card reader, the RJ45, and the HDMI out, all in one little block.
Oh, that's good, isn't it? How much does that cost?
$79.
Oh, that's not much, is it?
Not
really?
for all
That's
the
the
ports.
USB-C connector.
Yep. And it can do all of it at once. We tried it the other day. Everything worked beautifully.
Yeah,
It was pretty cool. So this is our backup in case our bigger Republic of Gaming Asus doesn't work on we could actually put this in its place and probably run almost as well. It won't be as
Now,
fast, but it'll be good.
Does your Magewell card work on that as
It does.
well? Is that the
It does.
Magewell?
We did try it. It worked. We just haven't tried two at a time. And I want to see if it'll work, if we can go into the expander, into the adapter, into this, rather than take up the two USB 3s. If we could, that'd be cool. So we're going to play with that probably next week and do some setups and get it all going. We already have vMix on it. Works beautifully.
What I'm liking with here about the USB 3 though is it seems to be the port that does everything, because you can do Thunderbolt through it as well, can't you? You can just you can have more connections, whereas before you had a Thunderbolt or equivalent, but you only had one port, whereas now all the USB the C's can do that, so you can have multiple and then expand it like you have there, and it's such a small connection, whereas even standard USBs, that's small, but it's quite a big chunky plug, isn't it? So if you've got three or four of them plugged into a laptop, it's hard. Whereas if you've got three or four of them, it's not that much it's easy to plug in.
Yeah, it's really small and it's not heavy, and you can easily put the things in. And and also you have a power. This thing at the back is power. Yeah. So you connect this to power, and now you have a powered hub with everything being powered for more speed and performance. So I was pretty impressed. The USB 3.1 I think does 30 or 40 gigabits per second. That's a lot. That's a lot. So it's pretty fast. It's like Thunderbolt 4. So
because I've got, like now at the moment, my own personal machines, I don't have anything with a USB-C, or what's it called?
Yeah, USB 3.1C.
The only one I do have is on like the Lenovo, the work machine, but the GH5 has that as well, USB-C, doesn't it?
No, it has USB 3, I think.
Is it? No, I thought it was C. I thought it had the C connector because it didn't. I thought that was it. It didn't have USB 3. I think that was one of the things.
I never use it because I never connect copy files.
Well, most of them you don't. That's what I thought. It didn't really matter.
I take the card out.
For a camera, but I mean, it's just amazing all the change how everybody was dead against it, and all of a sudden it seems to have taken over, doesn't it? USB-C.
Now, we were talking. Now, you know what mic I'm on right now.
Yes, I know, the Procaster.
And it's working through the Aphex.
Yes, you said that. So.
And all you have to do is really turn off the big bottom, and you're all excited.
Yeah.
Though if you turn them on, it doesn't really make much of a difference.
And that's exactly why I know you're quite correct with that, Rick, because the way I find it works really good is with my PreSonus. And the only thing, the thing that PreSonus does differently to the Aphex, it doesn't have all that. The big
Right, but
bottom
now I
and
have the big bottom and the oral exciter on. And
I can't even hear any difference.
Now control yourself. You may be getting excited listening to this in the audience. It's not my fault. It's Aphex. But I can't tell any difference. I honestly can't tell a difference.
No, there's not. No, because I was listening to your test when you did that the other week when we were saying just about not having a show and you was having a test, and I couldn't hear any difference when it was on or off with that because
I was so sleepy during that test. It's funny. I don't know. I made a couple of mistakes during the test that I was going, oh God, I don't know. I was tired, but we were totally jet lagged from the Orlando trip, and I was like, not good.
But I tell you what I liked on that video though that you might try. I just did like the way it came over, just the black and just black. You.
I like the black.
It looked really good.
I like the black too. I've been thinking lately of just getting rid of the green screen and just building out a background like we always had, and just leave it black or leave the green screen with no graphics in it, and it'll come out black, and it looks really good. I agree.
Yeah, and then you don't have to mess around. You just light yourself.
And we don't have to have all these interfaces. You could just have people next to each other, and that actually works. I've seen a lot of professional podcasts that do that as well. For all those of you who don't know and think I'm actually in a spaceship, we're not. This is actually a green screen behind us. So, but it's fun. I do like it in black. I think it's a cool look.
And I've seen a lot of things like Tony and Chelsea Northrup. They do that. Say just have it in a normal scene, but what they have is a big 42-inch TV or monitor, and that where they just show different things on there as well. So for while they're going like a PowerPoint with different things going on, so their run sheet, so a reminder, which is good. And then they still flick to different people if they've got them on the screen, do that. But a lot of people do that these days. Like I think somebody else has that sort of like the what's his name? I'm forgetting now. The Buzz.
The Buzz.
Stephen. I forgot. So I know his.
But he does.
He has all the he's set up there, doesn't he? Just showing all the monitors.
Tech Buzz.
And I really like that. Yes. I can't remember his surname now, Stephen. No, but
it's funny. I know Stephen well too. I've been forgetting horrible. Everybody's name today. It's just really bad. I think I didn't have enough sleep. But oh man, that's bad. Isn't it bad? And the other sad thing is, I was no better at 20.
Well, no, that's right.
With names.
But it was just like I was saying the other day with Mr. Holbrook, Jeffrey K. Holbrook was. Back in the day, we used to remember if somebody says, "Oh, I'm going to phone Rick."
Yeah.
What's his number? And I would say it's so and so and so and so. But now I barely remember the only one I know is my number.
That's funny.
And then because we rely on technology, and it's like everything, we just do rely on that all the time. And getting back with technology and photography, now I always do the same with the phone. You don't worry anyway. You say, "Oh, I'll just take a picture of that."
Stephen Haywood.
That's right.
I was sitting in my mind going, Haywood!
And you know that technology's got better, like on the phones and that, because you do it yourself. You just say, I'm not taking I'll just use my phone.
Right.
And a lot of the time, and it does such a good job, like even at work, at meetings, if somebody's got something that's scribbling on them, you take pictures of it these days, whereas before people were taking notes, you say, oh, just take a picture of that. You've got it exactly the way it is.
Now, I got my first Heil microphone the other day.
Oh, you've got the Heil.
But I didn't get an expensive one. I got a cheaper one. You know, it was the Heil PR22, which is used a lot by singers and some voiceover people. It's a small mic. It's it's like it fits in your hand. I have big hands, but it fits in my hand with the ball like right over at the capsule. It's a square at the top. It's flat. The workmanship I thought was on the cheaper side. Actually, I didn't feel it was that well built. It was okay. It was nice, but it wasn't great. I'll compare the same to a Rode. Rode knocks them out of the ballpark. They're just so much more solid. This Rode Procaster is a lot better built than the PR40. I saw a PR40 at Guitar Center. It just wasn't as nice. It was nice, but it didn't feel like this. This thing is so solid. This thing is a weapon.
And that's the Twit standard, the PR40.
I know,
and
they sound good, but it also depends on what kind of amplifiers they have. And I'm sure they're using some nice ones. They're probably using Apexes or something else. But it's a nice mic, and it sounds good when you stop playing with it. I just find the quality just a little cheap. Like they give you a mic holder that's rubber, and the mic falls out of it all the time. It's like this isn't good. You have to be very careful how you put it in because it will fall out. So,
one thing I like, where you said that the PR40 is the Twit standard, the Leo report this week in technology or the Twit network. Yeah. What I like is when he has a guest on that doesn't have that. I really like that because I know they must be really a good guest because they've been said, well, I'm not coming on if I have to get that. So that there must be, because nearly everybody else has the PR40 that they say, if I can't have it, if I can't come on, and people say, well, I don't care if you want me on there, I'll use what I've got. Right. So when I usually see a different microphone, I better watch this because it's going to be really interesting. Yep.
Now, it's interesting because the Rode Procaster, I saw several reviews on the internet, Rode Procaster versus Heil PR40.
Oh, okay.
And the bottom line was, you can't tell them apart that much. And the Rode, they all said, was better built. And frankly, the difference was so negligible either way that they call it a tie. So I thought, well, do I really need to spend $400 right now for a tie? No.
And that's why I went for because when I got the Procaster, I was looking at the PR40 and with all the reviews, and I thought, hey, for $179 as opposed to $400 or something, I thought you couldn't really go past that one. And regardless, it looked really nice.
Wasn't this $229?
I got mine for $179.
You got a good deal. I think this is $229.
That was Australian dollars. So.
Wow, that's a really good deal. Oh, is that when you guys were really strong?
Yeah, it was. But I was getting for $179.
Yeah, okay. Because I think I think at that time it was $229 here, but you were like $125 per dollar, so you were really high up.
But now we're down to 79 cents a dollar, so it'll be back
it went up. It went up a bit.
Yeah, but there we go. We was at 69, but I think now we're up to 79.
That's good. Well, hey, that helps.
It certainly does. But hey, we're getting into the real world. But the Amazon are opening up an outlet just round the corner from home here in Dandenong. So
really,
so it'll be closer. If I get it, should be able to get delivered quickly if the prices are okay. So I think with them coming in, it will really shake up the market, and prices will have to come down because they're not going to come here and sell things for 3 times as much as they do everywhere else, are they? They're going to want to get the market, and the way that they do business is they get other companies to sell through them, don't they?
It's the Walmart method, yeah.
So hopefully that's going to help along the way a bit. And hey, Rick, I was keep thinking about shall I spend the money and buy my GH5? Well, this week I spent just about as much as a GH5, but I didn't get a camera.
What'd you get?
Nothing. I just got dental work.
Oh, dental! Oh,
I went for a checkup on Tuesday, and $3,200 later, I came out.
Was that a root canal or?
Well, no, it's a few things. 2 crowns and a few other things. And
yeah, 2 crowns or a GH5.
Well, a crown is $1,100 a piece.
Yeah, that's about a GH5.
And then I thought, but then I thought, well, hang on, but at least I'll use that every day. I chalk, I eat, and do that. But that's exactly what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking about that money. I thought I could have bought a GH5, but no. But
that's actually pretty funny. That's funny.
Yes. But the funny thing is that probably wouldn't stop me. I'd probably, if I really go out to do that. But I'm still considering it because I would love to do it. But it's just, do I get the use out of it? Whereas the FZ1000 is still giving me great shots on there. But I've just got to get into that thing, get something to do. Because as I said a few weeks ago, I filmed somebody's training session with my other gear. And if I had more stuff to do like that, I would do it. Whereas I don't seem to get the enthusiasm for something I want to do.
Right.
Whereas if somebody else wants me to do it, I really get enthusiastic.
Well, since you like to spend big, forget the GH5. I think you should jump right to the Sony FS7.
Is that the video one, isn't it?
It's the video camcorder. It's about 6,000. God, it's beautiful. It looks really nice. I mean, we may get one this year if we have to spend a lot of money for taxes, but I don't know yet. But it just looks nice, and it has multiple lenses. Though, frankly, at that point, maybe the Canon EOS, the C200 might be good.
Well, that's right. But if it comes down,
aren't they about the same price?
But that's what the people are saying with that FS7. But that's where they say the GH5 is good because
it's almost as good as all
great
both
for
of
the
those.
Amount of money. But for half of that price, the Panasonic really is doing the same sort of quality.
Though I still think the color is definitely better on Canon.
On Canon, was that wasn't that Sony? It was
it's a
Canon,
Sony. It's a Sony FS7. The Canon would be the C200.
Yes,
but,
C2.
You know, I don't know. It's tough because the Canon camcorders. I mean, you have the XC10 and now the 15. I think. You know, that 15 never, or 20, whatever it was, never got any publicity.
No,
they came up with it, and I found out way later in a podcast. I go, wait a minute, when did that come out? Nobody cared. And it's a good enough camcorder, but you do have to transcode. Not everything reads the files, you know, the MXF file when you get it. And so that's an extra step. It's a little bit of a pain. The color's good. It looks beautiful. It's got that typical Canon color, but you can't replace the lens. It's a good lens, but it's not the best lens. So, you know, you're kind of torn. You have to go way up to get something a little better. And in the mid-range, I don't think Canon has anything with 4K yet.
Did you see it was probably over a year ago now that the Canon had the sales promo video for the C100 or C100, I think it was.
Okay.
And was advertising that, and they did like a little mini movie, and it was really good. The movie that they did, but one of the things they were showing was that smaller Canon that you just said without the changeable lens.
Yep.
And what they did, they strapped it to a pool cue and doing that shot, doing the film video, and using it like that, and I thought it was a really good way to show it, and the quality was just fantastic. But they just said everybody poo-pooed that one, didn't they?
They did. It's not a bad camera.
Horrible and all that, but it seemed to. It was because that one's like a mini C100, isn't it? With the same sort of handle grip, but it's like a little baby. It's like a little baby
and
C100.
You know, it shoots nicely. It's not that heavy. It actually shoots pretty nice video. My problem with it is the post. It's a little more effort to do something with it in post. That's the only thing I don't like. But it's a nice camera, and I wish they had more buttons. They just don't have a lot of buttons on this. There's only 3-row buttons on the side. You have a little key press thumbstick on the other side, which is okay for the menus, but it really lacks a couple of more buttons. You could do it on screen, but it's not as fast. And if you're outside, it's really hard to see. Or unless, you could put the other thing on that goes over the LCD, and now you have a viewfinder. That's okay, but now you can't touch buttons at all. You have to now go everything with the touchpad, with the joystick. And I don't know. It's okay. I don't think I'd buy the next one up. They didn't make enough. Though they added better audio. Now it has built-in XLR audio, so that was kind of interesting. And the price is only $500 more. So maybe we would for a camcorder. It's the only camcorder in the kind of their mid-range at about $2,500 that gives you 4K.
Yes,
but you don't get a lot of 4K, and you have CFast cards, which are damn expensive.
But I would love to get one of the bigger Canons, the video camera. But if I did the work, I would definitely get it if I could justify it, because I still think they're the most beautiful things. I just love the ergonomics, just the way that they look. And just because you can do the standard lens and it looks more like a DSLR, but it is a proper video camera, and it's just got all the right things on it.
But the C100 is a heavy. It's like 6 pounds.
It is. It still is heavy.
It's heavy.
It's still. But the thing is, it's small. It's the design of it's small enough to fit into a lot of those, stabilizers if you want to. Whereas a lot of those video cameras are just too long to do that. Whereas that's chunky but it will fit into a lot of those stabilizers quite easily. Whereas the other ones, you have to have the really big stabilizers.
Right.
Not that as I said, I would just love to be able to use that the Canon, but the focus on that is just fantastic. The way that they do the focus, the CMOS. Is it the CMOS? What do they call it?
I think they're using the dual pixel CMOS.
Dual pixel CMOS, and it seems to just be fantastic. I've seen Philip Bloom do the demo on the Brighton beach with that, and just how well it picks up all the things that you want to do.
He's just looking at girls. He only uses that to look at girls. You know that.
Well, that's the thing. No matter what I do, that's the thing. Is I'm always conscious when you're filming things. You just got to watch that because people automatically think you would be doing that.
And that's what he was doing. He wasn't looking at the guys. He edited out the good stuff. He never showed it.
That's right. But I mean, that's the thing is as well with video, you get more if people didn't mind so much out there, but you get a bit conscious some of the times out there filming different things. But if you didn't have that worry, you could do, like I see so many great things I'd love to film, but then it's all things where the signs say, don't film here, don't do that.
Oh, you have a lot of signs like that?
Oh, you have to, and like you want to film, oh, this would be great coming down the escalators in the train station. No, they think you're scamming the place and you're going to do a terrorist attack or something, so you're not allowed to film in there. And I thought that would be great just to film trains coming in and doing
you know what?
that.
All you do is take out your phone, 4K video, and they don't even care.
Yeah, they don't care. But if you do a camera, you care. But you can have your phone take that. Nobody even bats an eyelid for that. So
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Really, but you're right. You bring out a camera and say, get him, he's a terrorist. And then you bring out your cell phone. Oh, he's having fun. Look, he's filming the whole place. He's got everything.
I just don't know how people get it, because I was watching, Jared
Poland.
Photosphoto.com. Well, it must be good. It's quite annoying that, but everybody knows that, don't they? So they know the brand where he's working at. But he did a trip from, I think, where is he? New York to Los Angeles, and he had his Canon 80D or whatever on a little tripod, walking around with it in the airport. I thought, if I did that, everybody comes and would shoot me down and say, "Hey, put that camera." But he's got this walking into the plane, walking. How do you get away with that? Because if I did that,
I don't know. He must have had it prearranged.
But it must. But I mean, there's all these things holding this camera in through the airport, and I thought that's the number one place everybody seems to get you. And if you get a camera out and start filming, there'll be nobody around, but then all of a sudden there'll be 10 security guards looking at you.
Well, it's funny. This is the stupidity of the whole thing. That's why I call it security theater. It's just BS. I got I had a bottle of Gatorade with me once, just Gatorade. Because you get dry on planes. You need to drink more. I took some Gatorade. They took it away from me because it was more than 4 ounces, and it's terrorists. You could build a bomb with it. I was like, and then you go into the airport and you go to the sundry store and you can buy the same bottle of Gatorade. So what's the difference?
But it's just the same thing. That's just another thing to make you buy the thing at the airport because you bought it from the supermarket.
That's right.
It was 1/3 of the price.
Yeah, it's just to piss you off. That's it. There's no other reason. It's like, make them angry.
Because I just did the other week, I had a trip to Brisbane for work, and they were saying, go there early, the security is going to be extremely bad. But to me, I think the security should be A1 all the time. They should get the processes down pat, and they should never be saying, it's going to be extra stringent. So, well, what do you mean? They're slack before and they don't care most of the time and let people through? I said should be, they should do the best they can. If it inconveniences us, well, so be it, but improve the things like at Los Angeles should have all those full body scans and make everybody go through them.
Yeah.
Like I know every now and then
we don't want those. Those are very radioactive. They're not good.
I know, but that's what I've been in there, and your pants nearly fall down because they make you take your belt off, do the hands up, and you're pushing your stomach out to hold and trying to hold because you thought my pants are going to fall down, and it's just so. We have been so lucky because over the last 10 flights almost, we've been getting TSA pre-checked, pre-approved. I don't know why. And so we go in, you don't have to take your shoes off, no belts. You just put your stuff through like the old days. You put your bags through and you're done. I go, why can't they do that for everything? But even then, that's stupid to me. Why? Just because you paid for it makes you better. So wouldn't somebody who's bad pay for that as well?
Yeah. And by the way, quit letting all the idiots in who are the terrorists. I mean, if that's really when it gets to it, why are we letting them in? But that's me.
I did have to laugh, though. I was saying to Jeff on our show the other night, I was coming back, and some people just want security to get them. There was this woman who had this huge, like a hat on that it would look like Madge Simpson. You know how Madge Simpson's hair is? This, she had like a fairy hat on that sat up that high, and she had all these gold chains around. I thought, you're just asking for the security to take that off. You could be hiding a little child under that hat. Said you think people sometimes are just asking to be looked at, aren't they? So
they are. It's bizarre. So are you planning any tech purchases this year? You've been low on you've been buying musical stuff, but you haven't done much with tech.
Yeah.
Well, no, you bought the TV. You did buy a TV. You did buy a high-end TV.
I bought my TV because the music was last year, was December last year.
It wasn't that long ago.
So
okay.
This year was the TV, but also I'm wanting to get. I was planning to get the new AV receiver because the technology in them's improved no end. But as I said, all of a sudden this dental charge sort of blew that out of the water a little bit.
So tell me, now that you've had your OLED LG for over a month, right?
Yes.
How do you like it?
I love it because I never realized how I missed the blacks with the blacks. That's the best
it's
thing.
It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
The colors are just so much better, and you think, oh, it doesn't look that much different. But then I would go upstairs and look at my old TV. I thought, oh, yes, it is, because you get used to something after a month, and you just start accepting it as normal.
Right.
But when I go upstairs and see the other one, I said, gee, you can see the difference. But it is good when the screen goes black. It's black. It doesn't go grey anymore, and it's really good. Just to,
well, you didn't actually say G. You said LG.
LG.
So it really is nice. You get once you see it, it's so naturally beautiful.
And what I bought as well, because it still is, this one I got was the 3D, because they're not doing them on now. They've all sort of canned them, but I think a lot of people are trying to get them to say, well, please make some with 3D, because there's a lot of people like me. I like the 3D if they do the content. And what I've done, I've bought a set of 3D glasses that go over the top of these glasses, like the old sunglasses that you used to flip over, and they work really good for me, rather than having a set of 3D glasses over the top of your normal glasses. So that works really well. But if I would dearly love to get new, say the GH5, or as we said before, some other high-end video camera. But it's just getting out there and having something to use it for. And I don't want to start doing people's weddings. I would hate to do that. But I would love to, even if people have an event or something that they're not really going to record, invite me and I'll do something for them.
Sure.
I'd love to just do that, just to record, because there's no pressure. They weren't going to have anything done anyway, so...
That's
I would dearly love to do a bit of that, because when you've got a task at hand, you tend to have I have more enthusiasm for it. And then when I get back, I love to edit things like that to make. So I thought, I've got 3 hours, all this footage. How do I make that into a nice 3-minute video? Yep. Because that's the trick.
I think what I want isn't out yet, and it doesn't even exist technically. I want a Canon, which has Canon Color, 4K, that's not MPEG, motion JPEG, which is just ridiculous. It's too big. I mean, it looks good, but you have 255 gigabytes per hour. That's big. And something that has an articulating screen. Now, there's no Canon that has that at this point.
No.
None. So... what I want isn't out there yet, and it's frustrating because I want something that we should normally have. Canon, for some odd reason, still doesn't believe in keeping people happy. I don't get them. They have good tech. They have, but they're very behind on, for example, dynamic gain. Now, a lot of people don't care. I don't really care that much. No. But I do see what you can do when you have high dynamic gain. What you can take out of shadows is amazing. So they don't really go that way. Nikon's better, but Nikon looks like they're going to go under at the rate they're going. There's nothing going on at Nikon. They're in major financial problems, and it shows. So we'll see if they can save it on their 100th anniversary, because so far nothing. Nothing's all that
But
exciting.
it was just like I was saying before, though. Why can't Canon get something like the 80D, and then they look at what everybody likes with the GH5, and they could have the same body, make an 80D that's mirrorless, with the flip-out thing, which 4K, which does the same sort of thing, and just do that.
And two cards.
I would go and buy one straight away.
No, and two cards.
Yes, 2 cards. But they said all those things at the GH5, but in that body of the 80D.
I know, that would be pretty cool.
And that'd be easy for them because it's a bit bigger body, and people don't mind a little bit bigger body because we're used to DSLRs big and heavy, and I like a decent body to hold on to for that. The smaller ones, they may be small, but you've got these big down lenses on it, so it doesn't make any difference, does it? You need a big body and it's even the biggest DSLR. It's not that inconvenient to hold and to take around.
Now there are rumors. There are rumors that there's two rumors. One that Canon is going to build an unannounced full-frame mirrorless camera. That would be cool. And of course, they would probably not put an articulating screen. They probably wouldn't put anything else in it. It's like, but the idea is a good one. And then there's a rumor that Nikon may build, I guess, a full frame. I think that may be what they're coming out with or announced, the 850, I think it was, which is going to be a full-frame mirrorless camera. That could be interesting, but it may be too little too late for Canon, and that means you'd have to reinvest in lenses and everything else. So I consider Nikon out.
But you would think like a lot of these companies would look at companies like Panasonic, because no matter what you say about Panasonic, and that they have been the market leaders for years. Like who sold the most and had the best volume sales for video cameras when the first VHS video camera came out?
Panasonic all the way.
It might not have been the best, but hey, they know how to market things and get what people want. It might not have been the best like some of these companies. Yes, it might be technical, it has these rules, but that's not what people want. And Panasonic seemed to have that knack, getting things that everybody wants, whereas the others put out what they want, not what we want.
Yeah, it's weird.
Sometimes I think it's an engineer saying, this is what I think's best, and you better like it too.
I know, and if you look at the A7 series of Sony, the A7S, the A7R, they're small, they're full frame, they've done that, but one card. These are professional cameras with one card. That means you're forced to use an external recorder, and that drains batteries even more or whatever. So what do? You're kind of stuck. And again, it's so small. I don't know. I think they're just too small. Ergonomically, I do not like them. I've gone to Best Buy, I've held them, and I just go, ugh. It's too small.
And the thing that Hugh was saying as well is the same with the GH5. He said the thing he said it's got the dual memory cards, and he's done some of those long filming.
Yes.
He said you're not restricted to 29 minutes. You can unlimited recording. He said with the battery, you can hot swap. So you say I'm running out of battery, put another battery in, take the other one out, charge it. Oh, that memory card's getting full, put another one in. He said you can go forever, and he said the only thing he got unstuck with was because you could do that, he ran out of memory cards because he thought, he didn't even think about getting an extra. He said, now I'll take 4 memory cards instead of just 2. But he said, because most of the time you don't have enough power or that to fill up enough. And he said, but with that's what you've just got to watch. And he said he did that, hot swapped it, did 2 full memory. He said still didn't overheat as well.
I know, and they never.
As he said. And that's the thing, so you can get all that thing out there for those long jobs, and that's the big difference between the video camera and these DSLRs is you're usually restricted on the amount of filming you can do. But when you've got that hot swapping, you can just keep going. And as I said, if you get that bad, you can also get the AC power adapter, so you can keep going with the power as well. But it's just strange how the Sony don't have something, they don't put those things like a little bit bigger, but put the twin memory cards, because that's what all the people who are buying that camera want.
I know.
And they would buy, even the people who were humming and hawing would go for it if it had just that twin memory card slot. And the flip-out viewfinder, they would probably get half the market of the Panasonic if they did that.
But they don't.
No.
Strange.
Anyway.
Well, Jeff, we are pretty much out of time. I think we've been on for about
way over
almost an hour, 50 minutes.
Yes.
So that was a good show. That was fun. Hello, anybody out there still?
Well, this, well, as I said, I was also looking when we were talking about that, what the Wirecast upgrade. One of the things I was happy to see on that you can interact with the chat room through the Wirecast.
Right. And you could do that with vMix too. I just don't.
Yeah, but I thought nobody. I don't think that we've ever had anybody in there. But it'd be nice to have a show where you could have people asking a question or contributing in that. But that'd be nice. But as I said, anyway,
yeah,
that might be my next purchase if I upgrade to vMix, not vMix, the Wirecast. But I love vMix. But I just don't know.
You should support.
It won't work.
You know, you should support vMix. You're an Aussie. You know, you're in Australia. Support those Aussies.
But I have to get a whole new.
It does. I'll tell you though, vMix does a whole lot more than Wirecast. I mean, it's a whole lot more. It's much more powerful. There's so much you could do with it. It's like I think we use like not even half of it. It's so much you can do, and that's cool. I mean, it just does everything. You have full control of every. You have over 200 and something shortcut keys. You get like 10 on Wirecast. That's a big difference. And you get the triggers where you can do a lot of things after a video, before a video. I like all that stuff. And you can control all these MIDI keyboards.
Like yours, like when you, as soon as you run the end shot, it automatically ends the stream.
It stops the stream, yeah. And we could do other things. There's a whole mess of things we could do.
Yeah, it is a good package. I just need to.
Now, you don't need a super fast, like I said, this Lenovo, I'll let you know soon. I'll probably do a show with this soon so we can test it out, but I think it'll handle it no problem.
But that's the thing is, I wouldn't mind because I'm like they have Apple fanboys, and yeah, I might be an Apple fanboy there, but hey, it doesn't take me too much to go the other way and use a Windows machine. I've been toing and froing. I might have an Apple, but if there's a nice Windows one and there's a reason to get it, I'll get the Windows one and use that. So like you said, I don't mind. I can still use this for video editing. I can bring this to just buy a Windows machine and use the vMix on that and just get that set up and just say, well, down here I'll just have Windows for that, and they'll take this back upstairs and have just that for me video editing because it just
gives you flexibility.
And then you need the Mage, because I would probably, well, even then the Magewell the Magewell card would fit onto one of those laptops. But what's the one I've got now? The Blackmagic one. What's that? It's on the Thunderbolt.
What's one? Intensity Pro. Intensity Shuttle.
Pro. I don't know.
Would that the Intensity Extreme. That's it.
Would that on the Thunderbolt? Would that work on one of these new Windows machines?
I don't know because that's Thunderbolt 1. And now they've moved up to 4. You may need an adapter. I don't know.
But even then, the Magewell is probably cheap enough to get one of them anyway out there.
Under $200, and they're really pretty good.
And they're small now. Those other ones are big, chunky, and they're USB-C. So if you get,
and they don't have the heat issue, because the Intensity did have a heat issue. I have the shuttle somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. But what I would probably do is, like you were saying before, you've got your nice portable machine, but for the price of that nice portable machine, I could probably buy twice as much in a big clunky box, couldn't I?
That's true.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. So you can buy a big.
Well, for about $2,000, you could buy top of the line Asus ROG, the Republic of Gaming. Those are nice. I like it much better than the Alienwares, and it's a nice laptop. It weighs about 10 pounds, but boy, you get everything with it.
They're nice, aren't they?
It's nice, and we've run vMix at 3 different shows, streaming 2 days in a row. So we've streamed probably 6 days in a row on that, no problem, no heat, nothing. It just runs. That was fun.
Well, that might be an option. So yeah, I'll support vMix, and it'll cost me $3,000 to get the equipment to support. So it's like everything, isn't it? You buy one thing just to do, then it's sort of I'll just buy a new camera, but then I'll buy a new TV to watch it. I'll buy a new computer to edit it.
And that's capitalism at its best. You keep everything going. Yep,
that's right.
Anyway, well, for all you people in the chat room, we don't have a chat room, so you wasted a lot of time today. But for all you people watching, thanks for watching, and we will see you next week on Tech Down Under. Thanks, Jeff. And now we don't have much of an intro today, or outro. Well, that's it. There's no music because we have the wrong. This had a rendering issue, and for some odd reason, it's not working today. I tried earlier.
Oh, that's a good outro, isn't it?
But it's really cool. It just kind of sits there. Okay, outro over.